Hello, my friends. I will be quite honest. It has been 34 years since I attended my own college orientation, and thus the details are a bit hazy at best. But I can assure you that it was not at all like my son's orientation this summer. He's attending George Mason University, and from going through the entire orientation process now with a completely different lens, I learned 6 valuable lessons that we can all put into place so that we can approach our next chapter with the same wisdom, confidence, and intention as any college student who is going out into the world right here, right now. And that is what we're going to go through today. So let's jump right in. Huge auditorium, sitting there, of course, not sitting with Zane because he is now living his best life and off meeting people and so forth. So I'm sitting in the back, he's sitting in the front, and the director of students, I don't know, student something, came out on stage. He was the anchor speaker, and one of the first things he said is that I know that you are coming here and you all have amazing ideas of where you're going and so forth. And that is amazing. But do not come here tunnel visioned. I want you to see all that is possible and to see and be flexible, to try new things, to be curious, and to not limit yourself to this preconceived idea of what it is that you think you want, because there's so much that you don't even know. Mind blowing, mind blowing. You've all heard my story. I decided what I wanted to be when I grew up when I was 10. If ever someone went into college tunnel visioned, I have a gigantic high five. That was me. I was so focused on this is what I needed to do that I did not explore, try, do, so on and so forth. Now kids are doing double, this major with this emphasis and 13 minors and so forth. That's amazing. That is in our own life right here, right now. What are we so focused on that we can't even see for possibility? What are we so fixated that this is what I do in the world that I can't even think about doing anything else? We need to try new things. We need to be open to another route. And we need to take advantage of all that is available to us. Okay? Lesson 2, edit. If actually I could edit this entire episode and only talk about this one thing. He then went on to say, I want you to try all these things. We have over 300 clubs. We have this many sports. We have 75 bajillion majors. We have 16 bajillion minors. Do all of the things. Try all of the things. But every semester, I want you to do an audit and list out all the things that you're doing and ask yourself honestly, am I getting more energy from this than I am putting in? And if the answer is no, let it go. This is your permission, my friend, to let it go. How many times as an adult, I started this, so I have to finish it. No, you do not. You do not. If you are giving more energy than receiving from a relationship, from a job, from an activity, from a hobby, it's time to reevaluate, my friend. How can you divide your life into semesters? Every September, every December, beginning, end. May, again in August, where can you evaluate what it is that is in your life? And is it giving or taking? In the end, what is your net or deficit in the situation? For me, I know this came to play when for years, I ran a very successful boutique event planning company. I was on the top 25 of Boston Business Journal for more than 15 years. I was amazing. I have no qualms to tell you I was an amazing event planner. But it got to a place where the thought of the work that I needed to do and putting all the parts and pieces was just such a slog. But the events, I were on fire. I got on site and I was in my element. And then I came back home at the end of the day and I thought I was going to die. And I realized that those 2 hours was not enough energy to offset the months of preparation that I no longer loved. And so I walked away. And that is not easy, but is something in my case I have never regretted. Every time I have walked away from something, I have never regretted. And anytime you walk away from something, you could always go back. What's the worst thing? You could always go back. Okay. Number 3, don't be afraid to lose money. This is a good one. So there was a panel of teachers, and it was a teacher, one of the success coaches. Oh my goodness. There are 36,000 students at my son's school, and every single one of them is assigned a success coach that they're supposed to meet with twice a semester. And then obviously their academic advisor for once a semester. And then they have a learning center where they can go and get all the help. They have a DE&I center. They have a center for disabilities. They have a center for mental health. They have all the things, right? So there was a panel of them. And one of the professors was like, okay, and this was just to parents at this point. And he was like, you have to be supportive of your child dropping a class. And yes, you might lose money, but if it is stressing them out, if it is not the right fit, if they've overloaded, if they've overextended, it is the ramifications to them long term is not worth the saving of the money that you've already invested. He also went on to say that if your child chooses to change their major, let them. Again, they might have to retake some classes. They might have to take an extra semester, so on and so forth. That will cost you extra money, but not as much as if they finish this degree, knowing they hate it, and then go back for another one. He's like, you're going to spend way more money if you do that. So again, I come from the place of you choose it, you stick with it, you go with it, right? And I know my husband is the same way. He keeps saying, Zane, just 4 years, get out in 4 years. We have Mir who's coming in 4 years. And honestly, we don't really want to be paying for 2 colleges at once. But I already know that in his mind, he's like, he's got to just pick something and go with it. They're freaking 18 years old. Okay. Now, I am 18 times 2 plus, I don't know, I'm almost 18 times 3. So how much of what you are doing that you know is not serving you are you holding on to because you've invested all this time? You've spent so much of your career doing. I've spent so much money in this. This goes for, again, relationships, hobbies, activities, and jobs. Every woman that works with me who's an attorney, who no longer wants to be an attorney, they are having a complete and utter kerfuffle because they work so hard for this. they paid so much money for this, or their parents paid so much money for this. How could they possibly not want to practice any longer? If you hold on to this investment guilt, you're going to stay stuck in the same unfulfilling situation that you've always had. Lesson 4. On that same panel, I told you there was the success coach, the activity, the academic advisor, and also the woman who headed up all of the learning services. They have so many resources, way more than when I went to college. And mind you, maybe there was those things in college, I just didn't know about them. They said all of these things are free, which then they preface that with, well, it's included in your tuition. We have a very hard time as adults asking for help, utilizing the resources that are out there, even acknowledging that we need help. Just like it is absolutely zero shame for us to tell our 18-year-olds that it is okay to go and ask for extra help, to go and get tutoring, to go and make that appointment with your success coach. It is okay and zero shame for you to ask for help, for you to look for resources. Do you need a coach? Do you need a therapist? Do you need guidance? Do you need someone to frickin' make you a dinner? What is it that you need? And it's okay to ask for help. I've said before, asking for help is giving an invitation for someone to help participate in your life. Just like we love helping other people, we can let other people help us. Okay, number 5, don't spread yourself too thin. As he said, I want you to try this and try that, and each semester take an audit. There are some things that even if you're getting more energy than giving on all of these things, you still can't do it all. You can do anything, but not everything. So where do you need to prioritize and let go of things, even if you love them? Because you can't do it all. You are one person who needs to thrive and be vibrant and joyful and not overloaded. So choose wisely and move on and let go and weed out and know, again, you can always go back. And then lesson 6. This is one for me, from me to me, all the way and so forth. So we had the big auditorium thing, and then they took all the parents one way and the students went the other way, and the parents all went to lunch. Now, many of Zane's classmates, if he wanted to go to UMass, he would know 17,000 people who are going there. Like, every college around us has people. He chose a school that he is the only person he knows there. He chose a school that is primarily people from Virginia. He's going to a state school in Virginia. So thus, I didn't know anyone either. So we all come, into this cafeteria. I was the first one in, and I went and I sat and I went and did all my things, and there was already people at a table, and I sat my stuff down, and then more people joined. And so there were 5 of us there, and started a conversation, and they're all from Virginia because that's how this all works. They all had boys. We all then compared, stories about what they're doing and so on and so forth. And we then all kind of went to the rest of the day together. And I realized as we were on kind of the second activity is that I need these women. I have friends from when my kids, oh my gosh, I'm going to be really emotional here. I have friends from when my kids were in preschool. I have friends from when my kids were in elementary school, middle school, so on and so forth. We need friends for every freaking season. So I realized that, yes, I have friends here in the town that I live in that our kids are going off and so forth, but they're having a different experience. These women, their kids are having the same experience. They're the storm is a little bit different. Again, we're in different boats, but they're all at the same school. We all have boys. We're all there and so forth. And so I was like, can we exchange numbers? And now we're on a text chain, and we shared all of our move-in photos, and we are like, oh, have you seen this? How do we get this? So on and so forth. We are never too old to have new friends. And they may not become my best friends forever and ever, and maybe they will. But we need relationships in each season that serve this season. And at the same time, there are some friends that we've held on to that are no longer serving us. And we can let them go. We don't have to have a proclamation of like, I am unfriending you. It is just moving your attention to the relationships in your life that are serving you and letting the others just not really serving you. Just don't give it the attention that you once did. Okay. So those are my 6 lessons from college orientation. So now what? Now, what do you do with this? So that you can have the same wisdom, clarity, enthusiasm, intention, and confidence of a college student. Here is a quick exercise on how you can put these into motion right here, right now for your own life. These for them are ones that they're going to work into. You already have a life. You already have a plate that's full. Let's use these lessons right here, right now. So first, I want you to do an audit. I want you to get out a piece of paper. It can be the back of a napkin, a giant piece of paper. You do you. And I want you to write down what's in your life. What does your life make up? What are the relationships that you have, your activities that you do, the hobbies that you have, the habits that you have, and the jobs that you do? All of it. Dump it all down. Where are you spending your time? What are you giving your intention to? Not what you want it to be, what it is right now. Okay? Just put it out onto paper. Now, for each one of those, ask yourself, is this working? Yes, no. Yes, no. No judgment, just yes, no. Okay? So each one, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Then for those that are working, like I do like this and so forth, then ask yourself, do I still want to keep it? Because just because, like we were saying, spreading too thin, all of your yeses evaluate, do I still, like these are still working for me and so forth. On the no's, we ask yourself, is this imperative? Am I the only person? Like I have to keep this? Or I can let it go. So let it go, let it go. I'm sure I have 17 podcasts on talking about how we can let things go and so forth. It is more important on the things that you can't let go of right now. How can you change the mindset? How can you make it more enjoyable? How can you simplify it so it doesn't take as much energy? How can you shift the situation so that it is no longer weighing you down? Okay? And then once you see, then create a new list. This is my life. Instead of seeing all the cross outs and so forth, because that's going to give you agita of like, oh my gosh, fresh piece of paper, fresh napkin. This is my life. These are the relationships that matter to me. These are the habits that are serving me. These are the activities that I love, and this is the job that I love. Okay? Now, you might find I have no hobbies. I have no activities that I love. I don't like this job. I could use some more relationships. And that's where you then, what do you need to bring into your life so that you are taking advantage of all that is possible? And what will it take to bring that in? Now, with everything that I talk about, you're not going to bring it all in at once, one thing at a time, so on and so forth. But this gives you a master plan. This gives you your roadmap as to where you go from here. And then I encourage you to determine, when are your semesters? When is the end of each semester for you? And put it in your calendar. Like, I'm going to reevaluate the situation then. And you'll do this exercise again and again and again. So, giving yourself the gift of intention and attention on where you go from here is giving yourself the same release and encouragement as you would any college student. You are going on your next chapter, and every chapter is like a fresh page that you get to decide where you go from here. And sometimes it's hard to see what is possible, what you have within you already to do what it is that you want to do, to live a joyful, vibrant, fulfilled freaking life, and helping you see what you can't yet see is my superpower. And I would love, love, love to be able to use it on you. So always know, just reach out. My email is always in the show notes, janessa@janessadrani.com. I have a free virtual coffee for anyone who wants to just kind of do a download and be like, I don't even know where to go from here. No shame, all encouragement, no selling. I love to hear your story. Have an amazing, amazing week.